Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to most of us. My name is Paul Cox. I'm on the board of Veterans for Peace, and I really appreciate everybody coming. My job is to open this Deported Veterans Workshop with a hearty thank you for attending the convention, and a reminder that we don't run on oil or nuclear power. Unfortunately, we don't run on wind or solar power either. We run on money. And we need your help to fund our important work in all the areas that we are trying to influence, stopping war and all its manifestations. So please go to our website and choose from among our several opportunities: one-time donations, sustaining donations, planned giving. But importantly, we have a $10,000 challenge grant this year from Ralph Nader for this convention only. We have to raise every penny of 10 grand this weekend in order to get that grant from Ralph. So please donate. I would like to introduce Robert Vivar, one of the outstanding veterans in the deported veterans community, no longer a deported vet. He has been able to win his ability to come back to the United States. So thank you very much. And Robert, take it away.
Thank you, Paul. And just a brief correction there. I'm not a veteran. I'm a military family member. I've got several active duty military family members. And today, I would like to start by dedicating this workshop to one of our Deported Veteran Advocacy Project co-founders, George Johnson, who George actually lived the motto of leave no one behind. So I would like to please ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence in remembrance of George. And after the moment of silence, we ask another Deported Veteran Advocacy Project co-founder, Willie Haggard, to please welcome everyone to our workshop. Willie?
You're muted, Willie.
Mute. How about now? You got me now? Can you hear me? Where is everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
That a yes?
We can hear you.
Go and then go.
Okay, so I'll start over. This is actually our 12th workshop with Veterans for Peace, beginning with one that I don't remember the year of and can't seem to find for some reason, in Maryland, when Jan and Heather Boxes presented at the Maryland convention in a workshop. I've got all kind of stuff coming across my screen here. Anyway, this makes our 12th workshop, and our work actually began, as I recall it, when a fellow named, you might know, Nick Velvet, introduced this issue to Jan and I, and we went, deported veterans, are you shitting me? And so we researched it a little bit and everything, and published a piece on VetSpeak in 2009. After that, Jan began working with attorney Hector Foster on identifying deported, working with them on a case-by-case basis under the banner of banished veterans. Along the way, we connected with Hector Barjas, and our VVAW Legacy Trust became a physical sponsor for the Deported Veterans Support House in Tijuana, 2013 to 2016. Following VFP convention in 2015, we took a number of VFP members to Tijuana to spend the day at the support house visiting with deported veterans and barbecuing and having fun. 2017, the VFP board meeting in Tijuana, We passed a proposal for VFP to become the fiscal sponsor and provide 1 year of funding for the VFP Deported Veterans Resource Information Center. In association with VFP Tijuana Sergeant Burials Chapter 182 and Unified U.S. Deported Veterans with Robert Vivar as our executive director. 2 years of COVID pandemic was a major setback for us all with regard to outreach and fundraising. And we've managed to hang in there and are now reorganizing legislative lobbying efforts and seeking funding to carry us forward. And that's where y'all come in. So thank you.
Thanks for the handoff,
Jan?
Willie. So I'll start. Thank you, Willie. I was tasked with the creation of DVAP in the beginning of the advocacy, but actually it's reversed. DVAP is the Veterans for Peace National Deported Vets Advocacy Project. But the full story of the advocacy began in 2008 when 3 veterans learned that veterans were being deported. None of us believed it, not myself, Willie, or Chuck Winnett Mutt. In 2009, we got a cold call and a referral to 3 members of the National Lawyers Guild in San Diego. And there was 2 men and 1 woman. And so I, being a guy, I just guess I went down the row and thought the guys will be the one. So I called both the guys and they were a disappointment. And then I was fortunate enough to speak to a young woman by the name of Heather Boxett, an attorney who, well, let me say this. There's a saying that if you want something said, ask a man. And if you want something done, ask a woman. Now, I know that it's attributed to Margaret Thatcher, but it's true in so many ways. And it was fortuitous and true in this instance for our deported veterans, because this woman not only was an immigration attorney and an activist and a progressive person, but she was a criminal defense attorney. And since criminal offenses were what got the guys in trouble with the immigration law, her counseling and her work was critical in moving this issue forward and doing it quickly. She thought it was going to be done in a year because it was a veterans issue. Little did she know that both parties would pedal their feet for 15 years. So it all began when she became our first pro bono counsel, and our advocacy and lobbying began with her succinct crafting of in 2009 of the amendment to 8 U.S. Code 1101 Alpha 22, which defines what a foreign national is and a U.S. national and a citizen. And she crafted the change to that, the amendment, which is something that we put before the convention in Berkeley in 2016 and passed. But it was for them to be, at the moment they took the oath of enlistment, U.S. nationals, as they are when they deploy overseas in our status of forces agreement with foreign governments. But here we are going into 16 years of advocating on this. And now we are revising that amendment and removing from the oath of enlistment to add to it rather and change to being the moment they graduate boot camp, because there was a political party that'll go unnamed for this conversation that insisted that these people have a little skin in the game, not that signing on the dotted line and putting your life in the hands of Uncle Sam up to and including your life was enough. So here we are 16 years later, we're saying, okay, let's do it. Let's see if you're real. Now it is a skin in the game. After they graduate boot camp, they should become a U.S. national, a protected class, not deportable. So not only did she help us with that in 2009, But she went with us to Maryland in 2009. As Willie indicated, the National Convention in Maryland, we did our first workshop there. Right after that workshop was done, we jumped on a train and headed for Washington, D.C. She took us on a whirlwind tour of the Capitol, the Senate, and the House. And we knocked on doors of congressional people in our various districts in California and met with them, mainly with staff. I remember walking out of a meeting one time with a congressman who's no longer in power. I think he's in jail, as a matter of fact, Duncan D. Hunter Jr. He, when I walked out of that office, I felt encouraged, and I asked Heather, I said, she asked me, so what do you think? Well, I said, what do you think? And she said, they're really good listeners. And she's right. Here we are going on 16 years later. So in 2010, we had a workshop in San Diego at a sub-regional conference on deported vets. In 2011, we had a workshop in Ventura at the sub-regional conference on deported vets. And in 2012, Willie and the guys put together that workshop in VFP at the convention. So here we are in 2016, we're at the Berkeley Convention. And that's the same year that the VFP National Deported Veterans Advocacy Project was born. The convention passed, the membership in the convention and nationally passed the Deported Veterans Resolution. That resolution is on the agenda for amendment in the business meeting this weekend as Resolution 2023-1. And it now, as we said, revises it to amend the resolution so that they become nationals upon taking the oath of enlistment. So that's pretty much the history in a nutshell and the definition of how we advocated or how we began. So what we need now, this is a critical point in time for our deported veterans. In November of 2022, less than a year ago, the House of Representatives passed HR 7946, the Veterans. Robert, help me, the name of the act, I'm sorry.
Veteran Service and Recognition Act.
Thank you. The Veterans Service and Recognition Act. And it passed by a vote of 220 to 203. 217 Democrats voted for it in the House and 3 Republicans voted for it in the House. It then went on to the Senate to die under Mitch McConnell's leadership. The 117th Congress is no longer in session. Today, it's the 118th Congress. So we have this year and next year to push the 118th Congress in both houses, the House and the Senate, because when Congressman Mark Takano reintroduced that bill in the House, it was then reintroduced in a companion bill in the United States Senate by California Senator Alex Padilla. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, a whole host of U.S. senators have signed on to it. I don't know if there's any Republicans yet, but at any rate, that's where we are today. And whether or not this bill gets through the House this year or next, and through the Senate and onto the president's desk for a signature, the effort's going to continue. I mean, if they thought that they could just sweep this under the rug, we're going to hang on to this till we're dead. That's the way this is. You do not do this to veterans, and we have a part of our creed, our motto of this organization, justice for veterans and victims of war. That's what these guys are, veterans and victims of war. We have a veteran across that border in Tijuana, 75 or 6 years old, deported 4 or 5 years ago. He's got 2 Bronze Stars, V for valor. We know what that means. He got it in combat. How the hell do you deport somebody like that? To me, that's, leave no one behind. Brother George came up with it. It was a Marine Corps motto when I was in too. So that's enough. I'm going to turn this back over to Robert. He'll go from here, and I hope you all have a great workshop, and I look forward to hearing from everybody and hearing your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Uh, Hello, everybody. Before I go into the information I want to provide you, I want to give a big thank you to Veterans for Peace National, and our DVAP committee. If it wasn't for Veterans for Peace and the DVAP committee, that office across the border in Tijuana that has been such an important factor in the work that has been performed, not only in support of repatriating deported veterans, but also in the grave humanitarian support that has been given to our migrant community, and in particular, our refugees and asylum-seeking community in Tijuana, Mexico. And, I want to give also a very special thank you to those members of that committee. Of course, a couple that are here: Jan Ruman, Willie Hager, Maurice Martin. I don't know if he's here with us. Michael McPherson, who spearheaded the support for the creation of that committee and support for deported veterans, but also a lot of members across the United States from different VFP chapters. And I don't want to mention any names for the fear of missing anybody, because we did have several members across the country that even came down to Tijuana and were a part of that party that we went out to deliver donations to some of the refugee camps with clothing, food, hygiene kits, blankets, and so forth. And one of the big supporters that I do have to acknowledge within that group is our VFP chapter here in San Diego, who I am now also a very proud member of. So I wanted to make sure that we acknowledge what VFP has meant to us. If you notice the logo that we use on the shield of our T-shirts, business cards, and so forth, it's a veteran carrying another veteran across a fence. That is very symbolic, because that is exactly how it was felt when Veterans for Peace members started coming across the border to Tijuana, because that depicts exactly the work of VFP membership coming across to Tijuana to carry their fellow brothers and sister veterans across back home to the United States. Jan and Willie talked a little bit about how this all begun. So I'm going to kind of take it a spin-off from there. Of course, the office has been operating since April 2017. And the mission of the Unified U.S. Deported Veterans Resource Center there in Tijuana is to intercept veterans that are being deported, because we're right a few yards from the Ped-West border crossing, which is also the deportation area. So the idea is to intercept veterans that are being deported, to offer them an opportunity to integrate back into the community as productive members of the community, while assisting them in obtaining the rightly earned VA benefits, and also that very important part of analyzing their cases and referring them to our pro bono partners like the ACLU Immigrant Defenders Law Center, public counsel, for any opportunities of repatriation back to the country they were willing to die for. And on February of 2021, a very important event took place at that time. And that was also, again, with the support of Veterans for Peace, that we launched the creation of the Leave No One Behind mural project, a project that was designed to install murals like the one in my background across the United States. And at each one of those installations, a press conference with a call to action to contact their local elected officials congresspersons, senators, and urged them to remind President Biden of his promise to bring deported veterans home and reunite families that had been separated. That was the launch of this particular campaign that was also spearheaded by Congressman Chuy Garcia out of Chicago, Illinois. And that was a very important date because we believe that was part of the advocacy that led to the July 2nd, 2021 announcement from the White House that on orders of President Biden, orders an executive order to the Secretaries of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, and VA to create an initiative to review the cases of veterans and military family members that have been deported, to have their cases reviewed for the possibility of being able to be repatriated back to the country they were willing to die for. Well, on July 4th, a couple of days after that announcement, we had a celebration with deported veterans in Tijuana at Friendship Park to celebrate that finally somebody had taken an initiative to do something to bring deported veterans home. On September 15, 2023, we saw the work of the creation of that initiative under the Immigrant Military Members and Veterans Initiative. And the first action that we saw that was being take place was that there was an opportunity given to deported veterans and military family members to cross into the United States temporarily to receive COVID shots and also speak to VA representatives regarding their cases. Even though it was a temporary entry into the United States, for many of our deported veterans after 10, 15 years of not being able to step into the United States, was a brief hope that soon the further work would allow them to come back home permanently. February and March of 2022, an unprecedented action occurred, which was that the Immigrant Military Members and Veterans Initiative team, led by Director Debbie Rogers, actually crossed over to Tijuana to speak to deported veterans on the particulars of this initiative, and at the same time offering support with their cases. Joined in that particular event were attorneys from the National Immigration Justice Center, from the ACLU, Immigrant Defenders Law Center, Public Counsel. Since the creation of Immigrant Military Members and Veterans Initiative, which Unified U.S. Deported Veterans is a proud member, as well as Sergeant Barrios' VFP Chapter 182, over 80 deported veterans and military family members have been repatriated, including myself, a military family member, which I was allowed to return on November 11, 2021, Veterans Day. But the work of Veterans for Peace and Unified U.S. Deported Veterans was not only in support of our deported veterans and military family members, because of the proximity of the office to the port of entry during the Title 42 crisis that we were enduring. Unified U.S. Deported Veterans Resource Center, Veterans for Peace, Chapter 182 was also a proud member of an alliance created, Chaparral Humanitarian Alliance, which in coordination of this alliance, over 1,000 asylum seekers were allowed to be presented to the port of entry, many of them escorted by Unified U.S. Deported Veterans representatives to the port of entry to enter the United States and receive a humanitarian parole. The following year, over 3,000 asylum-seeking migrants were allowed to enter under Title 42 exemption. So as you can see, we are not only in support of our deported veterans, but in our community as a whole. We were supposed to be joining today with a representative from the ACLU to talk to us a little bit about the program, program that is at this moment in progress to bring support to HR 4569. And we're going to give her a little bit more time to see if she joins us. But in the meantime, what I would like to do is introduce you to some of our veterans, once deported, that have now been repatriated. And I believe we have a couple of short video clips that we would like to use as an introduction. And after those two clips, then we will ask our deported veterans to share for us some of their information and their story.
Are returning home to the United States, where veterans like Jose Cardenas will require a lot of help.
It's a real struggle to reintegrate back into home life. We need to get them the help they need to make sure they receive all their medical care that they are entitled to, their benefits, but also very important that they get their legal issues taken care of, and then eventually reopen their immigration cases to have their legal permanent residence restored, or in those that warrant, to have their citizenship petition.
Robert Vivar is with the U.S. Deported Veterans Resource Center. He has dedicated his life to helping veterans return to the U.S. He himself came back almost 2 years ago. LULAC, the League of United Latin American Countries, says of the 400 veterans it has identified, 65 have been able to return home. But according to Vivar, there are many more in countries like Mexico.
We know that there may be thousands out there, many of them that have not heard about the program for them to be able to be repatriated, or many of them that just are completely discouraged from being deported, and they don't want to hear anything about coming back.
Vivar says each and every one of them deserves to come home.
What's needed is actual legislation in the law books, and one of the ideas is the passing of the Veteran Service and Recognition Act, which has been reintroduced into the 118th Congress. Both parties need to understand this is not an immigration issue. This is a veteran issue.
Salvador Rivera, Border Report.
No, do we have another recording, Ellen?
It's coming. Give me a sec.
Sure.
Fiscal transfers, curtailed spending on in-person services, and shifts in preference away from using public transportation and from living in cities.
You know what? That shifted on me on that website. So can we go on to something else, and I'll bring it to you in the end?
Sure, not a problem. Friends, I would like to now introduce then U.S. Navy military combat veteran, Joe Rico.
Can you hear me? Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rico. Like Mr. Rico said, United States Navy. I was born in Guanajuato, Mexico. I am 44 years old. I was brought to the States at the age of 4. I grew up in Arlington, Texas, and after graduating high school, I moved to Iowa. I entered the service 2 months after 9/11, and I did 3 deployments, 2 while active and 1 while in the reserves. Life in the military was both great and really hard, having to be away from family. Returning to civilian life was even harder, trying to fill the gaps and adapting back to being a civilian. Every day wishing I had stayed in. I was deported on February 11, 2019 through McAllen and into Reynosa. Deportation was hard. After paying my dues, I got sent back to a country I didn't know. Like many, with just the clothes on our backs and no ID. Life in deportation was hard. It took me some time to find a job, a place to live. For a while, I was living at my grandma's house. For a while, I thought I was the only deported veteran until I linked up with another deported veteran that also lived in Guanajuato. He is the one that told me there was others like us. I couldn't believe there was quite a few. Thanks to all the ones I met, I was able to somewhat put my life back together. Because of them and people like Mr. Vivar, I am able to be here in this meeting today from the comfort of my sister's house here in San Antonio. Me being deported was hard on everybody, mentally and financially. It's still hard. I got to see my mom, but not my son, not yet, due to the rules and restrictions applied to me by ICE. I know it's temporary. I'm doing everything I am being asked to do, and little by little, getting where I need to be. Right now I'm getting the medical treatment I couldn't get back in Mexico, and now I'm able to sleep better in a much safer environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Joe, since your return, what have you experienced as far as integrating back into life in the United States? What are some of the setbacks that you have encountered?
Well, since I got here, I was put on parole, and then I had to turn in a lot of forms for my work permit, which I just got about a week ago. I had to make an appointment for a DMV, which is coming up next week, I think, in 2 weeks. So I still can't even go anywhere. And they put a restriction on me saying I can't leave San Antonio. So even though I'm back here in the States, I still haven't seen my son. I can't travel anywhere. So I think he has an appointment next Monday, and I won't be able to be there. He has a surgery coming up, and that's pretty hard on me and on him. Not for me not be able to be there for him, and he knows that I'm back, but he doesn't understand this whole thing about not being able to travel outside of San Antonio.
Well,
So
perhaps we can send a request to INVETS for support, so they can permit you to travel to be with your son during this much needed time that you would need to be with him.
okay,
We can look at that
okay,
later.
yeah, because like I said, I talked to his mom, and she's the one that tells me everything, and I told her I can't go nowhere.
Absolutely.
So that would really be. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Anything else you would like to share before we go on to our next guest?
No, I think I pretty much said it all. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I
Next
think I
we
got
have,
this other beauty. I have this other video for you now,
Okay.
Robert. So
Thank you.
let's do that.
More than 1,000 miles from his home state of Texas,
We're all Cowboy fans. Stuck with them wherever I go.
Joe Rico, a decorated U.S. Navy veteran, has been stuck living in this unfamiliar place. 5 years ago, a judge deported him from the U.S. to Mexico.
I got deported from my home, America. From my mom, everybody's over there.
His deportation was triggered by a conviction on drug charges, which he says stemmed from his struggles with addiction after he returned home from war.
Went through some depression, got in trouble. And I even asked the judge, are you really going to deport a veteran? And he's like, well, I thank you for your service, but it says here you got to go.
His greatest support is back home in Texas. His mother, Frances Garcia, and she's devastated.
Mi hijo, mi único hijo.
Dreaming of the day when she might be able to embrace her son again. And now Joe is about to get his chance to return home.
I'm ready to go back home. My mom, she's waiting for me. It's been a long time.
Thank you, Ellen. Next, we have U.S. Army veteran Jose Cardenas, who also has been repatriated. Jose, can you go ahead and unmute and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Jose Cardenas. I came to the United States when I was 7 years old. I was raised here in San Diego, and went to high school, elementary, high school, and college. And I got drafted right out of high school. So I went to the military and I did my basic training on Fort Ord and NIT. My MOS was 11 Charlie. Life in military was tough, but it was expected, so.
Jose, I understand that you volunteered for airborne school. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, after I got out of AIT, they asked for to see who wanted to go to airborne. So I went to airborne. I graduated, and then I went to 82nd Airborne, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And after that, after I did my service, I went back home. It was kind of hard because once I got out in 72. It was, that's when a lot of people from Vietnam were getting out. So we were treated bad, because they were saying that we were killers, we were assassins, and it was tough because it was hard for us to get any work, And I remember one time I went to, when I went to get a job, this lady from there, they told me, go to the immigration, you're gonna get your papers. So at that time, I thought I was getting my citizenship because I applied for it when I was in basic training. So when I went to immigration, they were waiting for me, and they put the cuffs on me, and then they said, "You're getting deported." And I said, "Why am I getting deported? I just got out of the military." He said, "Because you don't have any papers, any proof that you are here legally." So I had to call my dad because, they told me, "Well, you don't have any papers, so you gonna get deported." So my dad had to come up here to the immigration and get proof that I was legally in the United States. But the way they treat me, it was like I was nothing, it was, I don't know how to say that, but it make you feel like you go serve and then you just expendable, like, yeah, you did this and that's it,
So let me get this straight. You had actually applied for citizenship.
Yes, I did that during my basic training, so, and that thing never followed me. So when I got out, that that's what I thought I was going to get. When once I got out there, my surprise was that I was getting deported. But my dad kind of saved me at that, so. And the bad thing is that I had a kid and a wife, and that's the first thing that came in my mind. What am I going to do if I get deported? So it was a disappointment. That's
Understood. And how was it that you ended up in deportation in immigration removal?
Well, I did something bad, I had a problem, so, and one of my kids died, so I needed money to, at that time, it was, I lost my job and I needed to get some money, so this guy came and told me, hey, I could help you, so, and I kind of, waited 2 weeks, before I told him, but, I know I made a mistake and all that, but I needed to bury my son, and that's how I got in trouble.
It was a nonviolent drug conviction.
Yes, I drove, that's what happened, and,
Right. Understood. Sorry to hear about your son, and I know we've talked about that quite a bit. What was it like, when you were deported, when you were taken to the border and you realized that you were being taken away from the country you sought to defend?
Well, when they first deported me, at first I didn't think I was getting deported because through the whole time I was asking the immigration if I was getting deported, and they keep telling me, we don't have no papers on you, Through the whole time they told me that, so I figured I was going back home, But one day, the day that I got dismissed from prison, I was ready to get to the bus when the ICE came and told me, you are going to court. I said, for what? It said, you getting deported. So they told me at the last minute, so I didn't have time to get anybody to help me on that. So I got somebody, but after 7 months, they still deport me. So I got deported right there in Texas. I don't know the name of the border, but once I got out across the border, there were cops out there waiting for us, and I asked, what's the reason? And he said, well, the reason you getting guide to wherever you want to go is because cartels, they're recruiting people like you guys, so, and he took us to the restaurant, and after that he took us to the bus stop, and we got our ticket, but I stayed in Torreon for 2 weeks, and then after that, so the family that was there helping me, they helped me get a ticket to get to Tijuana, because that's where I was going, And through the whole time, I didn't even know where I was, because I never been in Mexico, So once I got to Tijuana, I had to call my family because I didn't know where it was. I knew I was in the bus depot, but I didn't know where. So I called my family and I told them, hey, I'm here in Tijuana, but I don't know. I'm in a depot, bus depot. So my family had a friend that they live in Tijuana, so they kind of told them how to get there and all that. And that's how I got back, and they helped me get a place, so. But during that time that I was in Tijuana, it was tough because I didn't know I had to get anywhere, and I was kind of scared because I didn't know what to do. And at that time, I didn't know anything about deported veterans, and
What was it like, Jose? Because I know you had some medical issues. Were you able to access your VA benefits to receive medical treatment, or
no? See, when I was in prison, I had 2 heart attacks. So when I came out, I didn't have any help. The only help I had, it was limited, and that was from Mexico, but it got to the point that I started getting worse and worse. And the way I came to the United States is a humanitarian parole. And the reason was because I was really sick. And
I understand you had surgery right after, a few days after you were allowed to return to the United States.
yeah, when I first came in, as soon as I came in, after a few weeks or I don't know, it was like a month. I had to go to emergency because I was getting some like a light heart attack. So when I was there, they checked me for COVID and all that stuff, and then they checked my heart and everything. So I was waiting there, and all of a sudden, 7 doctors came in and say, we need to talk to you. And they told me that if I didn't get a surgery, I was going to die. And that's how they told me. Say, you got 2 choices: either you do the surgery or you die. You don't have anything else. So I told them, well, do whatever you got to do. So, and the same day, they admitted me into the hospital. And and a couple of weeks later, they had me in surgery.
Excellent. And you're feeling better now. You're doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still getting treatments and all that, but yeah, I'm alive.
Okay, excellent. I understand that you have an appointment here in a few days. Can you tell us briefly what that appointment is about?
You mean the psychiatrist appointment, or which?
No, something about your green card.
Oh yeah, I do have. They gave me an application with. I fill up all that information. Like. I think this is for the green card. So I do have it on the 31st of this month. So hopefully I get it soon. But yeah, I'm in the last step before I get
I understand your attorneys were able to reopen your immigration case and have your legal permanent residence restored. And now you're in the process of actually receiving the actual card so that you have regained your legal permanent residence here in the U.S.
Yeah, they reopened my case. The judge, he approved it, that for me to stay. So that's when they said, well, the next step is to apply for your green card. So we did that, and in a few months later, they sent me another card saying that the application, that I got an appointment to get, I don't know the name of that other office, but yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Jose. Appreciate your service and you being here with us. Next, we have another combat veteran that was repatriated. I'd like to introduce Laura Mesa.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm really happy and very grateful to this nation and all the great people that are out there day to day working hard, advocating for us deported veterans. The ones that have come back, I know we're very happy and grateful. Facing a couple challenges like normal stuff because
I never said, in fact,
My name is Hector Lopez. I'm a U.S. Army reservist, and I am an American.
My name is Ruben Robles, Vietnam era Cold War veteran, 6 years Army. I am an American.
I am Lidia Jimenez Lázaro. I'm an OEF, OIF, Army veteran, and I am an American.
My name is Jose Cardenas. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I'm an American.
My name is Victor Hinojosa. I'm a U.S. Army Vietnam veteran, combat trained at 91 Bravo, Fort Sam Houston. I'm an American citizen.
My name is Miguel Hernandez. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I am American.
My name is Enrique Salas. I'm a Marine Corps vet, and I'm an American.
We're here today because a group of people said if you were willing to die for a country, that country would not leave you behind. That country would not let you be deported.
We feel that as U.S. veterans, we are Americans and we deserve and have fought for and earned the right to be home with our family.
My name is Miguel Perez, Miguel Angel Perez Montes. I go over Miguel Perez. And I'm reported from the United States. I'm a United States Army veteran. I served 2 tours in Afghanistan.
I'm here to support my husband, Hector Lopez. He's a deported U.S. Army veteran. And I believe that he should be in the United States. He can't come with me. He can't come to see the family.
We're here at my tocayo Hector Barrios' house. We're here at his altar. His ashes sit right here. We were hoping to get this man buried in the United States of America, but his family decided not to because they didn't feel that they had done anything for him while he was alive, so they didn't feel that they should do anything after he was dead.
And getting to Mexico, being down here in Mexico, I like to compare it a lot to, competed several years in boxing, and did a lot of full contact. And when we were putting on the wraps to box, you would get these little butterflies inside, and your heartbeat would start racing a little bit. You're about to fight with somebody. I had that same feeling that I was about to compete when I got here, but I was going to compete to stay alive now.
For the veterans.
Well, we got to do more. What we have to do is set up a special commission to examine each veteran's case.
My name is Mario Rodriguez. I was deported in 2005. I'm a Vietnam veteran.
The first thing we have to do is make people more aware, okay? Like we talked about earlier, the fact that people are getting shocked of the idea that we have deported veterans, that's the first issue. The second issue is, and I think actually the more important one, change the damn law.
we have to work on to fix 96 so everybody can come back home. We stop deportations, but we also have to not forget our deportees.
Deported veterans across the border at Mexico. Some of us, obviously none of those guys can come here today. They can't come here for health care. In other words, when they got deported, they virtually lost all their rights as veterans.
There was a gate right there, and you go through the little, little roller things, and the guy asks you, what are you doing here? Deported, so he writes you down a little thing. And the thing was that I didn't have my clothes. I had a paper suit. I was like, whoa, I'm going to TJ with a paper suit, and I'm not used to that. I've always worked all my life, and I've always had nice clothes, and I'm going to be walking into Tijuana with like a crazy person, like a nut, like a mental person, and so it was totally, man, I was devastated emotionally.
My name is Edwin Salgado. I'm a deported Marine. I'm a combat veteran. I was deployed in Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom.
My name is Enrique Salas. I'm a Marine Corps vet, and I'm an American.
Enrique Salas. Corporal Enrique Salas.
Hector Lopez, Corporal Enrique Salas is no longer with us.
Supposedly, if you serve your country, if you love your country, if you do all these things, veterans are always lifted up as being the best of the best and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, you're deporting them. So there's a contradiction, a huge contradiction there. So just by me saying that just explains how ridiculous and absurd this situation is, right?
We served our time, just like any other veteran that gets in trouble. They serve their time, we serve our time. They get to go home, we don't get to ever make it back home. We get exiled, and that's not fair. We go through this whole process of deportation and our families being separated, and we're U.S. veterans, we're U.S. soldiers, and this is un-American to do this to us. And we're going to keep on fighting until we get back home.
To end the separation of families in this community, to continue the friendship between our two great countries, our two great communities.
There's one simple hearing hack anyone can use to improve their hearing.
Laurita, you okay to continue here with us?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm honored to be here, actually. It's an honor to be
Good.
with so many people that know so much stuff and got me back home to my family. It's not you guys. That's not the reason I avoid these reunions sometimes.
Not a problem. Laurita, can you tell us where you served? I understand you were a U.S. Army combat medic that served actually in a combat zone.
Yes, I served actually in started basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Loved it. It was very challenging. There were so many things I learned about being part of the Army and what the military's core values teach you to be. Selfless service, put others before you put yourself. Things that God in the Bible talks about too. Just very good morals to loving yourself and doing it to others as you would do it to yourself. Pretty much, that covers like all of it. But respect, loyalty, duty, be there on your job, respect, do everything as you would want to be done unto you. Loyalty, be loyal to the Army and to the U.S. Don't ever be a traitor. I love this country. And I felt hurt. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm angry at the U.S. I'm really not. I'm angry at myself. I just, sometimes I was angry at myself at one point really hard, but I had to forgive myself. I mean, damn, I was really doing myself hard, like, crucifying myself like over and over, you messed up. But, I didn't really know what was going on with me at the time. I was just not doing good. I mean, I was avoiding things and just trying to cover it up, trying to forget about everything and using, drugs and alcohol for some time. But this all hurts. I mean, this topic is very emotional for me. I feel like I'm going to be looking like a crybaby on there. So I get embarrassed. I don't want to be coming. Like I was always, you're a crybaby, don't cry, too. My dad always used to say that shit to us. Maricona, no llore,
That's the only way that, that you can help in a process of healing. So it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry.
Things I seen, I didn't know how to deal with anything. I was hurt and angry when I was in war. I saw so much stuff. I was very angry at some time. I was like, what the hell? Who lets all this shit happen? All these people are dying, innocent people and everything. This shouldn't be going on. I'm angry. I am angry. And I'm also sad because so many people are being affected, the families and everything, and hurting. There's a lot of pain involved in this whole issue of just war veterans, and then you got the other deported veterans too. But it's one issue of the deported veterans issue of being taken out of the country that you love, your motherland, your home, and exiled and booted out like you're nothing. It hurts a lot. I felt like that. Even like the process, even when I was taken by the ICE agents, I think they were like trying to be, sarcastic or funny. And my life is not a joke. It shouldn't be used as a joke. I mean, I'm not here like I'm perfect, but don't try to make me feel worse and humiliate or embarrass me or, I'm already feeling like shit enough as it is. And I'm pretty sure that I'm getting kicked out of the country that I love and I know as home,
Absolutely. But
it hurt a lot to be away from my family, from my daughter, to so many years that I missed of my daughter, and I couldn't be a mother to her, and my mom and everything. And I missed many years in my family's lives, Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, holidays, everything, just being with them.
But
it hurt a lot.
Even with that pain, Laurita, I understand that to help you with your own pain, you dedicated yourself, of course, to your son Jaden, to raising this young man by yourself, but also as a teacher for preschool children of 3 and 4 years old. So regardless that you were struggling as hard as you were struggling, yet you still found within you that dedication, that was embedded for you to serve others by serving those children that obviously helped you to deal with your own struggle that you were enduring?
Yes, Robert. I mean, it's not easy for none of us. All of us was very hurtful. I'm pretty sure for all the veterans that have been deported, to be taken away from your family, to be, sent out of the country you love and you fight for, and you put your life on the line and you do it again. I mean, it's a very hurtful thing more than anything. I think it's not even an anger thing anymore for me. For me, I'm still in pain about all this happened. It still hurts so much when I even think about the day I got deported. That I felt like really bad. I felt like, when they were joking and they said something about, what can we do for fun out here? I said, are you kidding me? I got deported, and I didn't live in this country for the last 29 years. I was brought to America at 5. Do you think I know where to go? For you guys to have fun? I have no idea. I don't know, seriously. But it's just hurtful, just, to be taken away like that. I think sometimes, I don't know, there might be some type of the immigration law is very delicate, it's ever changing and it's ever evolving. But I started reading up a little bit, because I wanted to know, how can I get back? Am I serious? Are they serious? Did I get deported? And then there was things that came up in my issues with citizenship, because people started asking me, are you a citizen? And I said, well, I don't know. Shoot, I had to think about that, because I remember my dad got his citizenship. I think it was when I was 16, but I still didn't have any papers. I still didn't have, I think, a green card, but he got his, citizenship, I believe. Or was it his green card? See, I don't know. See, these are things I have to like really touch bases with my mom, because she probably know better than me.
Right.
And I was doing so bad at that time. I mean, yeah.
Right. Laurita, let's kind of change course a little bit, going from that sadness, that struggle. What was it like, number one, when you got the notice that you were going to be allowed to return to the U.S.? And number two, what was it like when you got off that plane and walked down that hall to your loved ones there waiting for you?
Oh boy, that was like just going towards heaven. Like, I just felt elated. I felt ecstatic, happy, just like, and very, very excited. I couldn't believe it. It was like a dream come true. It's a dream come true. To be here is really a dream come true, to be back and to be home and with all the people that you love, your family, first and foremost, and all the people that love and support you, that are here to back you up, the things you went through, and that are compassionate, empathetic, real good-hearted Americans, true, real Americans. I love this. I love the spirit. I'm very proud to be an American and to be a part of all these things in this country. And I think this is great that we're doing things to help defend injustices, to fight for the rights of people that deserve it, and that have been unjustly taken out of a situation. I think the worst thing that can happen to a human being is to be separated from your family for so many years for something, and some things that are, just taken, blown out of a proportion. Even I think, oh, here, hit you up with another charge just because we're trying to get you to look even worse than what really happened. I don't know. It's terrible. I think that stuff does happen too. I think it's happened to me. I'm not. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story, Laurita. It's very
Hopefully
emotional.
you guys can keep helping other veterans come back to reunite with their families.
Absolutely. That's the whole idea. We gotta, just like, you were in the Army, we have to build a bigger army out here, a bigger army of support to bring every veteran home, every deported veteran anywhere in the world home. Thank you, Laurita. Appreciate you being here with us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here and to serve this great country.
Thank you. Friends, next we have a good friend of mine, a colleague who I have been working with for quite a few years. He's always there at the post, at the Unified U.S. Deported Veterans Resource Center, ready to help veterans, whether they're deported or just visitors or expats. And next, I would like to introduce to you our co-director of Unified U.S. Deported Veterans Research Center, Hector Lopez.
Good afternoon. My name's Hector Lopez. I've been deported since December 20th, 2006. I'm a U.S. Army reservist. I served my country for 6 years. The only thing I can say and want to say is I never for once thought in my life that I would be sitting in Mexico against my will. You know, I came to Mexico lots of times as a tourist, but now that I have to live here, it has been one of the most challenging things I've ever had to do. I miss my family, I miss my kids. And as Laura just said, not being able to see my son grow up has really been hard on me psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. And I'm just very thankful. I'm very thankful because if I wouldn't have saw a newscast and saw a member of Vets for Peace advocating for veterans being deported from Canada back to the U.S., you know, I would have never gotten involved in this, in helping my brothers and sisters come back home. After seeing that report on TV and seeing that member of Vets for Peace, his name is Jan Ruman. He was on TV advocating for veterans being deported from Canada back to the U.S. And that started this thing in my mind that if Canada doesn't want American veterans over there, I would hope Mexico doesn't want American veterans here either. So it has been a whirlwind of emotions. It has been lots of ups and downs. We have been here in Tijuana serving our brothers, well, just our brothers here in Tijuana and in all Mexico and all over the world. And we're not going to stop until we all come home. Hopefully I will be coming home soon. I am praying. My mother is praying. My family is praying. My mother has several prayer chains going right now because she is very sick and she needs my help. So hopefully I get the humanitarian parole granted to me so I can be over there in the country that I served and defended and the country that I love. Because in my heart, even though I was born in Michoacan, Mexico, I am and always have felt like as soon as I got to the United States, I knew that was me. I knew that was me. I knew that I know that in my heart I am an American and I always will be. America created me. America made me what I am today. And that's why this deportation is so hard on not only me, but on all of us that are still deported. With the help of Veterans for Peace, with the help of immigrant defenders, with the help of MDEF, with a lot of help from the ACLU, we have managed to get a lot of our men back home, but it's not enough. I'm still here. I'm still in Tijuana, Mexico, wishing and wanting to be home with my family. It's really hard to be sitting here by myself because for something that I did, that I'm not a traitor, I'm not a terrorist. I don't feel that because I have marijuana charges, you know, that would warrant me to be kicked out of my country. And as a matter of fact, the state I live in, California, they already took in any and all marijuana crimes are being expunged or vacated simply because it's legal now. But I'm still here. I'm still without my family. I'm still longing to hug my children. I'm still my son, he doesn't want to come over here because of everything he sees on TV or hears on TV. Tijuana's not that bad of a place. From what I hear, more people die in LA of gang violence than they do in Tijuana or Mexico in one day. So it's one of those deals where we just have to improvise and adapt. But I'm tired. I'm tired of improvising and adapting because I want to go home. This is not my country. I want to go home. I am an American and I don't belong here. And I just, like I said before, I want to thank everybody from Vets for Peace, because when I first started yelling out, when I first started calling this injustice out, there was no fucking military organizations. Nobody wanted to help us because we're criminals. Nobody except Veterans for Peace. Veterans for Peace was the only one that stood up for us. So I want to thank from the bottom of my heart all the guys that were shown earlier from Vets for Peace, from Michael McPherson, Jan Ruman, Willie Hager, George Johnson. A big fucking shout out to George Johnson for making us livable here in Tijuana. He actually moved over here to be with us. And then sadly and tragically, we lost him last year, and that void has been very hard to fill. And I don't know if that void will ever be filled, because George Johnson was, I'm not going to say he was a father figure, more like an older cousin or older brother kind of relationship. But man, if I could just say one thing, that would be thank you to everybody involved in getting the majority of our guys back home. We've had a lot of guys that go home that are at home, a lot, but it's not enough. I want to go home. I don't belong here.
Thank you, Hector. We want you home. We got to keep fighting to bring you home until everyone comes home.
Yes, till everyone comes home. But some of our guys, sadly enough, have died here waiting. And I have sent too many guys in little fucking urns. I have sent too many guys back home dead, only to be buried in a veteran cemetery closest to their home. That don't make no fucking sense. But hopefully this new law passes and the guys that don't have a shot to go back can go home, because DD 214 show equal citizenship. If I serve my country and I served for 6 years, there's guys that I know didn't even serve that, didn't even serve half of that. And they're still Americans. I was willing to give my life when I was activated for war during the invasion of Grenada. My unit, half of the guys didn't even want to go. Half of the guys went to Canada. And my mom wanted me to come to Mexico, but I didn't. Why? Because I'm an American and I signed up to do my duty, to serve my country, to do whatever my country needed. And this is how they treat me. It's not right. We do need help. We're still needing help. We're over here. We got guys that are doing really bad. We got guys that aren't getting their money over here that need help. We have guys that are still dealing with their demons here in Mexico that need help. They need help from the VA. They need help from our government. They need help from the country that they were willing to give their lives for, and they're not getting it. And I do not want to, I don't want to send another guy home in a urn or a casket. And I don't want to go home in an urn or a casket myself, because I don't want to be buried in the veteran cemetery closest to my home in ashes. I want my body there. I want to be there because that's where I belong. I am an American, and that's where I belong.
Thank you, Hector. Appreciate your work and your words. Friends, I know we're getting real close on time here, and we do want to give an opportunity for some Q&A. But before that, I would just like to mention a couple of things. Naureen Shah from the ACLU was not able to make it. I got an email that she was ill today, and the information she wanted to provide us, I think, is very vital because it is an ongoing advocacy effort from the Deported Veteran Advocacy Project, but also through the ACLU and the Immigrant Military Members and Veterans Deported Veteran Coalition. And basically what we're doing is reaching out to members of Congress, House members and Senate members. And in particular, we are targeting Republican elected officials because they are the ones that we have not received the kind of support that we need to pass legislation. The only reason that legislation stalled out in the 117th Congress was because of the lack of Republican support in the U.S. Senate. This year, that the Veteran Service and Recognition Act has been reintroduced. Part of the work alongside with the ACLU is to target key elected officials, House and Senate. And there is a toolkit that I will be happy to send to any of you that would like to receive it, that gives you very good tools on how to address members of Congress and the Senate for support with the Veteran Service and Recognition Act, whether it's through email, phone calls, but more important than emails or phone calls is for you, one of our fellow Veteran for Peace members or allies, to contact your elected official, and not by phone, not by email, but to ask, demand a meeting in person with that elected official. And what proves to be pretty good that can work is that if you and a group of your fellow Veteran for Peace members or whatever allied organization you may belong to or friends can address these congressional representatives as constituents. As constituents, they have an obligation to respond to your questions. They have an obligation to respond to your needs. And at this time, what we need is every one of you across the country to raise your voice of disappointment of the injustice of deporting those that were willing to give their life to defend the United States. And we need to have you, like I said, with a group of your fellow Veterans for Peace members, whatever organization members, and reach out to your elected officials demanding they meet with you, and in that meeting demanding that they support the Veteran Service and Recognition Act. And you know, if they don't want to support it because it's a Democratic bill, then invite them to write a bill that'll have the same protections and they can put their name on it. And you know, one of the things that could be very useful when they do that, if they want to write a new bill, it doesn't have to be complicated. All it can be is an amendment to 8 U.S.C. Code 1101 Alpha 22. When a service person takes the oath of enlistment, that proves their loyalty and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States, and therefore grant them nationality, if not citizenship, from day one that they begin their basic training, and make it retroactive to all veterans that have completed their basic training. In this way, veterans that have been deported can have an easier path to come back home where they belong in the United States. But we need your help. We need every one of you to raise your voice and demand your elected official as a constituent to take action. Thank you very much, friends. At this point, I would like to open it for questions from any of the deported veterans that you have heard here today, and also from our Deported Veteran Advocacy Project leadership, Jan, Willie. I saw Gary Butterfield there in the chat as well. Gary has been an incredible supporter also. So we'd like to open it up. Should you have any questions, we'll be happy to respond. And I see Alice.
Thank you. It's Kara. Alice is in the other room right now. I just wanted to ask, I put it in chat. I'm curious, everyone that's a deported veteran has been referring to themselves as I am an American. But isn't any human being that's in Canada, United States, Mexico, Central America, South America, aren't each and every person in any of these places Americans? And why can't, or why doesn't the deported population want to refer to themselves as U.S. citizens? That mind and body and feeling, that's what I'm getting the feeling they feel themselves to be. They have that right, certainly. I'm curious to why that distinction has been made by virtually everyone.
I'm going to answer that real briefly, Kara, and then I'm going to ask my friends for their response. I myself, I agree with you. Mexico, Canada is America. As a matter of fact, it's not only America, it's North America. The same thing the United States of America is. It's North America, period. So it only makes sense to consider ourselves as North Americans or United States citizens, you may say. But that's my take on it. And I would like to ask my colleagues if they would like to respond to that as well.
Well, sure, I'd like to add something to that. I consider and I think she's right. America is more like a general term that you could use for like North America, Central America, even South America as America. So we're all part of America and we're all Americans, but she has a very good point there. But we're talking more specifically, like she said, we could refer to ourselves as, well, I'm not a citizen, I guess, right now, but I feel in my heart I am a citizen. That's my faith right now. And I know that faith does move mountains. And I'm very happy to be here. And I want to stay here with my family. So I thank everybody and all the good people that have helped me get here once again. And we got to get everybody else back. Hector Lopez, I want to thank him for his work too, because I know he's out there working hard. And it's sad because he's still not back. So we definitely have to get him back. And thank you for the love and support, definitely from him and all his dedication to the job.
Robert, I'm very sorry, but we're going to have to cut it off here because we have to start up the prep for the next webinar, which starts at 6 o'clock. And so I'm sorry, we can't take any more questions. We're going to have to end the workshop here, but thank you so much.
Not a problem, Ellen. Thank you very much. Thank everybody for being here. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate.
Close out with the video.
To send them my way, and we can go ahead and close it out with that last video, Ellen.
Okay,
Thank you, everybody. God bless.
thank you.
The next event's at 6 o'clock Central Time, so make your adjustments.
Who was the one that said that?
Another summer day has come and gone away from Paris or Rome, but I wanna go home. Maybe surrounded by a million people, I still feel all alone. Just wanna go home. Oh, I miss you, you know. And I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you, each one a line or two. I'm fine, baby, how are you? Well, I would send them, but I know that it's just not enough. My words were cold and flat, and you deserve more than that. Another airplane, another sunny place. I'm lucky, I know, but I wanna go home. I got to go home. Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you are. I wanna come home. And I feel just like I'm living someone else's life. It's like I just stepped outside when everything was going right. And I know just why you could not come along with me. That this was not your dream, but you always believed in me. Another winter day has come and gone away in either Paris or Rome, and I wanna go home. Let me go home. And I'm surrounded by a million people. I still feel alone, and let me go home. Oh, I miss you, you know. Let me go home. My run, baby, I'm done. I gotta go home. Let me go home. It'll all be alright. I'll be home tonight. I'm coming back home.